Today in support of the Coastal and Ocean Acidification Stressors and Threats, or COAST Research Act, my bipartisan bill to expand scientific research and monitoring of ocean and coastal acidification. According to the 4th National Climate Assessment, atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations are now higher than at any time in the last 3 million years. Approximately 1/3 of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere dissolves into our oceans and estuaries, causing them to become more acidic. In addition to atmospheric carbon dioxide, our oceans, estuaries, and coastal waterways are absorbing chemical inputs and excess nutrient runoff from land and coastal pollution. Our understanding of the long-term consequences of changes in water chemistry on our marine ecosystem is still limited, but we do know that ocean and coastal acidification make it difficult for marine organisms to build their shells and skeletal structures. And some finfish, including endangered salmon in the Pacific Northwest, lose their sense of smell that they use for identifying prey, reproducing, and navigating their habitats. Ocean acidification events are only projected to become more intense, longer, and increasingly common, especially on the Pacific coast. The Coast Research Act would improve scientific research on ocean and coastal acidification in the context of other environmental stressors and direct federal agencies to assess adaptation and mitigation strategies. Importantly, the bill also expands the definition of ocean acidification to include estuaries and to recognize mechanisms that cause changes in coastal chemistry. As chair of the Interagency Working Group on Ocean Acidification, NOAA is already leading interdisciplinary efforts to expand our understanding of changing ocean conditions. This bill would designate NOAA as the lead federal agency responsible for implementing the federal response to ocean and coastal acidification. This is a pragmatic response to calls for an interdependent National Ocean Acidification Program office and recommendations from a September 2014 Government Accountability Office report. Ocean acidification research is still in its infancy, and the best way to mitigate its effects is through regionally coordinated scientific research. The Coast Research Act directs NOAA to maintain a data archive system to process, store, archive, and provide access to data on ocean and coastal acidification from federally funded research, including existing global or national data sets, and research from state and local agencies, tribes, academic scientists, citizen scientists, and industry organizations. Additionally, the Coast Research Act would increase our understanding of the socioeconomic effects of ocean and coastal acidification, and it will engage stakeholders. The bill creates an advisory board comprised of representatives of the shellfish and crab industry, finfish industry, seafood processors, recreational fishing, academia, non-governmental organizations, state, local, and tribal governments, and regional coastal acidification networks. This regionally balanced group will advise the Interagency Working Group on Ocean and Coastal Acidification research and monitoring activities. Our oceans and estuaries are facing the brunt of our inaction to reduce anthropogenic carbon emissions. We know that even if carbon dioxide emissions are halted today, many of the effects of our oceans will continue to occur over the course of the next few decades. The Coast Research Act will support vulnerable communities and coastal and ocean managers by strengthening research on how they can best prepare and, when possible, adapt to ocean and coastal acidification. Oregon's shellfish industry and researchers at Oregon State University have collaborated on ocean acidification mitigation strategies that have helped the shellfish industry survive. Their research demonstrates what is possible when we invest in science and research to help our coastal communities adapt. Our oceans and estuaries are resilient, and we can help them heal, but we cannot afford to wait any longer. This is National Ocean Month and Capitol Hill Ocean Week, a good time to act to protect the health of our oceans and our planet. I want to close by again thanking my colleagues, Representative Young, Representative Posey, Representative Pingree, for their leadership on this issue. I truly appreciate the support from my fellow House Oceans Caucus and Congressional Estuary Caucus co-chairs. I also want to again thank Chairwoman Johnson and Ranking Member Lucas. And I request unanimous consent to enter into the record letters from the Oregon Coordinating Council on Ocean Acidification and Hypoxia and Oregon State University in support of the Coast Research Act. I urge all my colleagues to support this bill, and I yield back the balance of